What if everything you've been told or never told about your body after 60 is missing the point? What if the way you've approached your health, your energy, even your private habits, has quietly been making things harder? Not because you've done something wrong, but because no one ever taught you how to evolve with your body, not against it. I'm Dr. William Mark. I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s for over 3 decades. And let me be honest with you, most of what men think they've lost hasn't actually disappeared. It's just gone quiet, waiting for the right approach to bring it back. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 secrets that every man over 60 deserves to know. Not theories, not recycled tips from your 20s. These are hard-earned truths shaped by science, real-world results, and the lived experience of thousands of men who refuse to give up on feeling alive, connected, and in control of their bodies. We're going to talk about what really changes after 60, how your sensitivity shifts, how your hormones ebb and flow, and how your approach to pleasure, touch, and vitality must grow with you. And we'll challenge some of the biggest lies that hold men back. That it's too late, that what's gone can't be restored, that this phase of life is about decline. It's not. In fact, what I've seen over and over is that this chapter can be the most powerful of all. Not because you're going back to who you were at 30, but because you're finally learning how to show up fully in the body you have now. If anything in this message resonates, I want you to type the number 1 in the comments. Let me know you're here, that you're ready, that you're listening. Because this conversation, it's not just about aging. It's about waking back up. Secret 1. Awareness rebuilds arousal. Most men think arousal is a physical process. Blood flow, hormones, a simple reaction to the right touch or the right fantasy. But after 60, something shifts. The mechanics don't respond the way they used to. Not because they're broken, but because they're asking for something deeper, awareness. You see, most men learned self-pleasure in secrecy. It was fast, hidden, disconnected, a means to an end. That pattern, urgency over intimacy, speed over sensation, gets hardwired. And for decades it works. But what worked at 20 becomes a trap at 60. Because now your body isn't asking you to rush, it's asking you to feel. Let me tell you about Dennis, 74, a retired engineer who came to me frustrated. I go through the motions, he said, but it always leaves me flat. We talked, and I asked him to try something radically different. Slow down. Not just in movement, but in attention. No goal, no expectation. Just breath, presence, and gentle touch. Not just in one spot, but wherever curiosity led him. The next time we spoke, he looked lighter. I felt things I didn't think were possible anymore, he said. Like my body woke up. This is what I call the awareness shift. It's not about turning yourself on. It's about tuning in. When you stop chasing climax and start following sensation, everything begins to change. Your breath deepens, your nervous system calms, your sensitivity increases. Areas you haven't noticed in years start responding again. That's not imagination. It's neurology. When you practice mindful self-touch, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. At the same time, it suppresses cortisol, the stress hormone that kills arousal. The result? A deeper, longer-lasting glow. A fuller sense of satisfaction. And sometimes, for the first time in years, a feeling of wholeness. Think of it like music. The beauty isn't just in the last note. It's in the rhythm. The rise, the quiet in-between moments. That's what awareness brings back. It turns a mechanical habit into a renewing experience. And the longer you stay in that space, the more your body remembers how to feel. Here's a simple way to start. Set a timer for 10 minutes. During that time, there's no finishing. Just breathing, touching, and noticing. Where do you feel warmth? Where do you feel resistance? What parts of you crave attention that have been ignored? You're not performing, you're discovering. And if this feels foreign or awkward at first, good. That means you're unlearning decades of conditioning. You're giving your body the space to lead instead of forcing it to keep up with outdated expectations. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about reclaiming the part of you that's been quieted by pressure, by shame, by time. So the next time you think about pleasure, don't start with action. Start with awareness. Be with your body, not just on it. Let touch be slow. Let breath be deep. Let sensation lead the way. If this opens something in you, drop a number 2 in the comments. Let me know you're not just hearing this, but you're ready to feel it. Secret 2. Mastering your timing window. One of the most misunderstood elements of male pleasure, especially after 60, is timing. Not how long you last. Not how often you engage, but when you engage. Because as we age, our body's internal rhythms shift. And ignoring that shift can mean the difference between frustration and deep satisfaction. You see, in your 20s and 30s, testosterone peaks early in the morning. That's why morning erections were so predictable. But as you move into your 60s and beyond, that rhythm changes. For many men, the body's new sweet spot for intimacy isn't at night when you're winding down. It's mid-morning or early afternoon, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., when energy is stable, cortisol is lower, and your system is more receptive to arousal. Take Harold, for example. He was 68 when we first met. He told me he always tried to be intimate at night, after dinner, after TV, just before bed. But every time he felt disconnected, his mind wandered, his body didn't respond. When I suggested he shift that ritual to late morning, on weekends or during a quiet weekday break, his first reaction was disbelief. "Who has energy in the middle of the day?" he laughed. But 2 days later he called me back. "It worked," he said. "I didn't expect it, but my body felt alive again." That's the beauty of timing. When you align your habits with your body's readiness, you stop forcing and start flowing. Your nervous system is calmer. Your arousal system is more responsive. And best of all, you feel more present because you're not fighting fatigue. And this isn't just anecdotal. Studies show that as we age, our circadian rhythms, the body's internal clock, change how we metabolize hormones. Testosterone may not spike the way it once did, but it finds a steadier, more accessible rhythm throughout the late morning and early afternoon. That's the window your body quietly prefers. You just have to listen. Now, this doesn't mean you need to schedule a romantic moment with military precision. But it does mean experimenting. If your routine isn't working, try something different. Instead of waiting until the end of the day when stress has piled up and your energy is drained, try mid-morning. Take a walk, breathe, feel your body, and see how it responds. You might be surprised by what wakes up when you simply show up at the right time. And if you live with a partner, this becomes a shared opportunity. When both of you are more rested and relaxed, connection feels natural again, not something squeezed into the leftovers of your day. So here's your takeaway. Don't fight your body's timing. Explore it, respect it, and most of all, trust it. If this gave you a new perspective, type number 3 in the comments. Let me know if you're ready to try listening to your body's clock instead of pushing against it. Secret 3. Transform your environment for better sensation. Most men over 60 don't realize how much their environment is shaping their experience, not just emotionally, but physically. The lighting, the temperature, the comfort of the space you're in, these are not small details. They are silent cues that either help your body open up or cause it to shut down. In younger years, arousal could come quickly, maybe from a thought, a fantasy, or sheer curiosity. But as your body matures, arousal becomes more relational. It needs safety. It needs intention. It needs an environment that says you're allowed to feel. And unfortunately, most older men don't even think about this. They lock the door, turn off the light, and try to go through the motions in cold, quiet isolation. Let me tell you about Franklin, 72, who came to me with a simple complaint. Everything just feels muted. I asked him about his environment. He described a sterile bathroom with a flickering fluorescent bulb, door locked out of habit, and nothing in the space that felt remotely warm or inviting. We made just a few changes. Warm lighting, a room at 75 degrees, soft instrumental music in the background, and a gentle scent like vanilla or cedarwood. Just enough to engage the senses, not distract them. The next time we spoke, he couldn't stop smiling. "It felt like I gave myself permission to enjoy again," he said. The science backs this up. Your brain interprets sensory input before anything else. When the lighting is soft, your pupils relax. When the temperature is warm, your skin responds more sensitively. When there's calming sound or a pleasant scent, your nervous system slips into a parasympathetic state, what I call the green light zone, where pleasure becomes possible. You don't need candles or mood lighting to make it work. But you do need to care about the space you're in. Is it inviting? Does it feel like a space of comfort or of urgency and escape? Because your body won't fully engage if your brain feels it's in a place of tension. Try this. Choose a space in your home where you feel most at ease, not just physically but emotionally. Make small adjustments. Dim the lights. Use a warm towel. Turn off your phone. Maybe even sit somewhere new. A chair, a rug, a place you don't associate with rushing or hiding. Let your body feel chosen, not managed. When you honor your environment, you're telling your body, this moment matters. I matter. That message alone can awaken sensations you thought were long gone. If this inspired you to try something different with your space, drop number 4 in the comments. Let's talk about what kind of environment actually supports your pleasure, not blocks it. Secret 4. Upgrade your technique. If you're like most men, the way you touch yourself hasn't changed in decades, and that's not your fault. Most of us learned about self-pleasure in silence. No instruction, no conversation, just a rushed, repetitive motion that became a lifelong habit. But here's the truth. What worked at 16 doesn't serve the body you have at 60. In fact, it may be holding you back from the deeper sensations your body is fully capable of feeling. I want you to meet Victor, a 66-year-old former firefighter. Strong, stoic, honest. He came to me and said, "Doc, I don't know what's wrong, it just doesn't feel like it used to." So I asked him to describe what he was doing. Same hand, same pressure, same straight line motion, same everything, for over 40 years. I gave him a few suggestions. Use the non-dominant hand. Shift the pressure. Start light, then gradually build. Change the rhythm. Slow it down, then let it rise and fall. Try circular movements instead of just up and down. I also had him experiment with stimulating areas beyond just one spot, the perineum, the inner thighs, even the hips. When he came back a week later, his entire tone had changed. "I didn't want it to end," he said. This isn't about tricks. It's about waking up nerve endings that have gone quiet from years of routine. Your brain craves novelty, just like your palate. If you ate the same meal the same way every day for 40 years, you'd stop tasting it. Pleasure works the same way. Change how you approach it, and suddenly the sensation returns, not because your body changed, but because you finally gave it something new to respond to. Even small changes make a huge difference. Try the ring technique, by gently trapping blood in the shaft with your fingers to create a firmer feeling. Pause in the middle of your rhythm. Shift to a spiral stroke. Use a water-based lubricant for more glide and less friction. These aren't gimmicks. They're ways to reintroduce your body to sensation in layers, not just as a goal to race toward. And here's a powerful shift. Let go of finishing quickly. Let your session be about exploration. When you change your mindset from performance to presence, you give your nervous system space to engage more deeply. You start feeling things you didn't even realize you were missing. If your pleasure has felt flat, it's not because your body is broken. It's because it's bored. And the good news, you're in control. You can wake it up with just a few shifts. If you're ready to experiment, to move beyond habit and into discovery, Drop number 5 in the comments. Let's reinvent how you connect with yourself. Secret 5. Discover forgotten pleasure zones. One of the most powerful, yet overlooked realities of aging is how your body's map of pleasure changes. What used to light you up might now feel muted. What once felt too sensitive may suddenly feel just right. And while some men see this as loss, I want you to see it for what it really is, an invitation. Because your body hasn't stopped feeling. It's simply rerouted sensation, waiting for you to explore new roads. I'll never forget Marvin, 71. He came to me discouraged, saying, "Doc, it's like my body's gone quiet." He hadn't changed anything in how he approached intimacy, but what used to work just didn't work anymore. I told him something simple. Skip direct stimulation for 5 minutes. Instead, explore the rest of your body. Gently massage the inner thighs, trace circles along the lower abdomen, apply pressure to the perineum, that often ignored space between the scrotum and anus. At first, he was skeptical. A week later, he returned with a smile that said it all. It felt like my whole body turned back on. As we age, secondary nerve pathways become more accessible. Your body starts listening to signals it used to tune out. That means areas like your inner knees, hips, lower back, even your neck or shoulders can suddenly trigger waves of sensation you never associated with pleasure before. This isn't fantasy. It's biology. And the more you explore, the more those nerve endings become active again. Your brain remaps what pleasure looks like, not just as a location, but as an experience. And here's what's remarkable. The more time you spend on these so-called non-traditional areas, the more connected and alive you begin to feel, not just in the moment, but throughout your day. Don't underestimate the value of gentle touch. A soft glide along the rib cage, fingertips behind the knees, a slow hand over your hips. These zones aren't just sideshows, they're main stages if you're willing to stay long enough to let them speak. Here's something else. Pleasure zones are deeply personal. What works for one man may not work for another. That's why discovery is key. Be curious. Approach your body the way an artist approaches a new canvas. Not rushing, but listening, learning, layering. You're not broken. You're evolving. And this evolution is offering you a richer, fuller palette than you've ever had before. The only question is, are you willing to use it? If this sparked your interest, type number 6 in the comments. Share one part of your body you're curious to rediscover. Let's explore beyond the expected. Secret 6. Boost circulation, boost sensation. Most men think pleasure is all about arousal. But the truth is, pleasure begins before you ever touch your body. It begins with blood flow. Without proper circulation, even the most refined technique, the perfect timing, the ideal environment, it all falls flat. This is why I teach what I call the circulation first principle. Because when your blood is flowing freely, everything else becomes easier. Sensation sharpens, erection quality improves, even your mood lifts. Let me tell you about Darnell, 67, a former music teacher. He came to me frustrated. "Doc, sometimes I try everything. I slow down, I change the rhythm, I even added the scent like you suggested, but it still feels dull." So I asked him a simple question. "What do you do before you touch yourself?" He blinked. "Nothing, really. I just go for it." That's where we started. I walked Darnell through a preparation ritual I give many of my older patients. First, drink a full glass of water. Hydration increases blood volume. Then, add a pinch of sea salt. It helps your body retain that fluid just long enough to boost circulation. About an hour before your session, eat something circulation-friendly. Dark chocolate, a slice of watermelon, a few pistachios. These aren't just snacks, they're fuel for your blood vessels. After that, move. Just 5 minutes of walking, stretching, even climbing stairs. Not a workout, just movement to prime your system. Next, breath. Not shallow, distracted breaths. Deep, intentional breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. This slows your heart rate, calms your nervous system, and prepares your body to feel. And finally, touch, but not for pleasure. For preparation. Use your hands to gently massage your inner thighs, your lower belly, the creases where your legs meet your pelvis. These are circulation hubs. Warming them up first brings blood exactly where you want it to go. When Darnell followed this sequence, he called me 2 days later, sounding like a new man. It was like my body finally woke up, he said. Like I turned something back on that I didn't know was off. That's what happens when you make your blood flow a priority. You're not just setting the mood. You're waking up every system that makes pleasure possible. Here's what the science says. Poor circulation is one of the leading causes of reduced sensitivity and weaker erections in men over 60. And yet, most men never think about their circulation until there's a serious problem. But it's fixable. Naturally. Without medication, without fear. Just small shifts in daily habits that prep your body to receive pleasure, not struggle to reach it. So the next time you plan to explore, begin earlier. Treat your preparation like foreplay. Hydrate, move, breathe, massage. This isn't wasted time. This is the foundation. Because a body that's fully oxygenated, fully nourished, and fully awake is a body that remembers how to feel. If this unlocked a new perspective for you, type number 7 in the comments. Let me know you're ready to try it, not later, but today. Don't wait for your body to force the change. Choose to make it now. Secret 7. Adapt with age. Don't resist it. There's a moment every man over 60 faces, even if he doesn't say it out loud. Things don't work the way they used to. The response is slower. The intensity fades faster. The body feels unfamiliar. And the most common reaction? Try to force your way back. Push harder. Or worse, give up completely. But what if the changes in your body aren't problems to fix, but invitations to evolve? Let me tell you about Jerome. He's 73, a retired pilot, strong-willed, quiet. But when he sat in my office, he looked defeated. It's just not the same anymore, he told me. I used to feel alive. Now it's like the spark's gone. So I asked him a question most men never consider. What if your spark isn't gone, it's just different now? And what if the goal isn't to get back to who you were, but to meet the man you are now? That conversation changed everything. Here's what most people don't realize. Your arousal pattern evolves. Your sensitivity shifts. Your climax might arrive more slowly. But that isn't loss, that's refinement. It's like upgrading from fireworks to fire. Less flashy, more enduring. As men age, the plateau phase, the stage of high arousal before orgasm, naturally extends. And when you stop rushing and actually lean into that phase, the pleasure deepens. Some of the men I work with have even experienced full-body orgasms without ejaculation, waves of pleasure they never felt at 30, 40, or 50. And yes, you might need to make adjustments. A little extra lubrication. A new position that's more comfortable. A change in pacing. But none of these are signs of failure. They're signs of wisdom. They show you're learning how to be with the body you actually have, not the one you used to chase. Jerome took this to heart. He stopped trying to relive his younger years and started exploring his present. He began setting aside more time, building rituals around touch, breath, and presence. He experimented with slowing things down, savoring each step instead of racing to the end. A month later, he sent me a message I'll never forget. I feel more in touch with myself now than I ever did when I was younger. It's not about going back, it's about finally arriving. That's the secret most men miss. Aging doesn't steal your pleasure. It changes the route to get there. And when you accept those changes, when you adapt with curiosity instead of judgment, everything begins to open up again. So if you felt discouraged by the shifts in your body, I want to offer you this truth. Nothing is broken. You're just in a new chapter, one that asks for a different rhythm, a slower hand, a kinder mindset. But make no mistake, it can be the most powerful chapter yet. If this spoke to you, type number 8 in the comments. Let me know if you're ready to stop chasing the past and start living fully in the present. because this isn't the end of your story. It might just be the beginning of your best one. If there's one truth I hope you carry with you after these 7 secrets, it's this. Your capacity for pleasure, connection, and vitality does not end with age. It evolves. And the sooner you stop resisting that evolution and start embracing it, the sooner you open the door to a version of yourself you never knew was possible. You've learned how slowing down and tuning in can rebuild arousal from the inside out. You've seen how the time of day matters, how your environment speaks to your senses, and how technique isn't about tricks, it's about attention. You've discovered how forgotten parts of your body can become sources of powerful new sensation, and how circulation is the unsung hero of all lasting pleasure. And most importantly, you've been reminded that aging isn't a decline. It's a refinement. What I've seen in the thousands of men I've worked with, from their 60s to their 80s, is that the ones who thrive are the ones who stop trying to go back. They lean into the body they have now, they listen, they adapt, and in that shift they rediscover not just physical pleasure, but emotional clarity, deeper confidence, and a renewed sense of being fully alive. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait. Not for the right day. Not for a doctor to give you permission. Not for your body to bounce back. Every day you delay is a day you reinforce disconnection. But every small action you take today becomes a signal to your body and your mind that you're not done growing. You're just getting started. You don't need to be who you were. You need to be who you are, fully, bravely, and without apology. And before we go, I want to ask you this. Which secret resonated with you most? Which one felt like it was written just for you? Type the number in the comments. Let this be more than just a video. Let it be a conversation, a community, a new beginning. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Join me every week for more real, grounded, and empowering guidance designed specifically for you. Because your body still has so much to give. Your story isn't ending, it's evolving. And you're just getting started.